Now, I'm sounding like a real wacko conspiracy theorist, I know, but it is interesting, isn't it? Because Meghan herself admitted in her Oprah Winfrey interview that she had an introduction to Eugenie way before she even met Prince Harry. Hi, and thanks for joining me. In the last 24 hours, much has been made of the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are going to travel to Nigeria to experience cultural experiences and also to discuss, supposedly, the Invictus Games. Now, we know that Prince Harry is attending the remembrance service for the Invictus Games at St. Paul's Cathedral on May the 8th. But Meghan isn't attending that event. She's travelling straight to Nigeria, whereupon the hapless Harry is going to catch up with her there. Now, at this point, if I was a parent, regardless of being King Charles III or not, I would pick up the phone and I would say, listen, I know we've had our difficulties and there's a great degree of mistrust between us. However, I advise you with all my heart not to go to Nigeria. I don't think there's been enough preparation. I don't think there's been enough planning. I don't think there's been enough thought into your safety going to Nigeria. And I really do question your motives and intention actually making this trip. I would make that call at this point. And in this video, I hope to illustrate to you why I would make that call. Now, the media are treating this with sort of irony, wry amusement about the fact that Prince Harry has pointed out so stridently over the last few years that he needs more security. He needs really what he really wants, his IPP status reinstated, and he wants that sort of global ability to just go anywhere whenever he wants and have armed security with him at all times. Now, unfortunately, we now know that's not going to happen, unfortunately, for Harry. And he has made much of the fact of even attending the Invictus Games Memorial at St. Paul's Cathedral because he pointed out that his presence was advertised ahead of the fact and that didn't make him feel safe. And due to those concerns, there's no way he could bring his family or even his children, if indeed he would ever bring them to anything. So that was the excuse given. And again, there was hoo-ha, will he, won't he attend, blah, 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 which is detrimental to the Invictus Games, but that's another video. But then, after that, after all that, he goes to Nigeria. This is the current travel advisory for Nigeria. This was actually in September 2023, and it's still relevant now. Reconsider travel to Nigeria due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed gangs. Specific to being a British national, this was put out by the UK government. British nationals are seen as legitimate targets, including tourists, humanitarian aid workers, journalists, and business travellers. If you are kidnapped, the reason for your presence is unlikely to protect you or secure your safe release. The long-standing policy of the British government is not to make substantive concessions to hostage takers. The British government considers paying ransoms and releasing prisoners builds the capability of terrorist groups and finances their activities. And it goes on and on and on. But yeah, hapless Harry, go on, you complete idiot. Run off to Nigeria with your little paid-for security. I gather that the Nigerian government will provide you with adequate security. That's probably why they're treating it as a quasi-royal visit. I'm sure they wouldn't want anything to happen to either one of you on their watch, and I, of course, don't want anything to happen to you on their watch either. Now, of interest is the fact that this build-up, needing security, needing his IPP status reinstated and everything over years and years and years and numerous court cases, has laid the groundwork, the perfect groundwork, that if anything untoward should happen, and I don't want it to happen, that's why I'm making this video, if anything untoward should happen to Prince Harry, who's going to get the blame for it? UK security, UK government, the royal family. So really, the stage has been set for a drama to unfold. And like I said, that's why I'm making this video. It is the height of stupidity to put himself in that vulnerable position. Now, you would think that the powers that be that are actually charged with protecting the royal family and the royal family's interests all around the world would actually be onto this. Okay, with mention of Nigeria, It also brings up for me two associates of Meghan Markle, Miss and Harriman and also Dr. Shauna, which very, meanly is referred to as Shouty Shauna all over X because she can't seem to do an interview without flipping a lid and shouting everybody else down. Nevertheless, Dr. Shauna, Miss and Harriman, okay. Now, when it was first purported that this invitation had actually been extended to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, and it is quite amusing how that invitation was actually relayed by a Nigerian newspaper. I will just find it for you here. I have it. Here it is. The Defence Headquarters, DHQ, has expressed its honour and delight for the acceptance of the Duke of Duchess, His Royal Highness Prince Harry and his wife, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, to visit Nigeria in May 2024. Now, we were also told that Meghan has been given a really affectionate nickname, Amira Ngozi Lolo. And evidently, Amira stands for warrior princess. Ngozi is blessed and Lolo is royal. It has that royal connotation. Now, warrior princess took me back to 2014. And then that gave me a reason to look at all that again. And that actually provided me with a missing piece of the puzzle that I've been searching for the last couple of years. And I have to tell you this story because it adds context to all my concerns. So I'll try to tell you as briefly and as succinctly as I can. 7 months ago, I made a video about the fact that I actually thought that Prince Harry met Meghan Markle in 2014. Now, all over the internet, there are considered conspiracy theories that Meghan actually met Harry in Turkey, that actually met him at the opening of Soho House, Istanbul. A lot of people believe that, which was in 2015. So what I am proposing isn't necessarily being touted by really anyone much, but it's just a gut feeling I've always had. And the reason why I have this gut feeling is Prince Harry travelled to Miami and it was a stopover for Guy Pelly's wedding. Now, Prince William was not with him, so he wouldn't have been aware what went on at Fontainebleau Resort Hotel at Miami Beach. Right. Prince William joined them later in Memphis. Okay. Now, I always felt, I was always of the feeling that Misha Nanu, who then was married to an old Etonian friend of Prince William and Prince Harry, Alexandra Gills, actually met Meghan in May 2014 in Miami. The reason why I thought that was because she said it once in an interview. And when I went back, it had been corrected that she met Meghan in December at Art Basel 2014. And I thought, oh, damn, that sort of doesn't fit in with what I wanted. I needed to place Misha and Meghan at Miami early May 2014. And it had been corrected. At last night, I found my missing piece of the puzzle. In another interview, Misha Nanu actually said that she introduced Eugenie to Meghan Markle in Miami in May 2014. Bingo. So we have Eugenie, possibly Beatrice, Misha Nanu, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in Miami early May 2014. Wonderful, because I always suspected that the tan brunette that Harry was chatting up in a private dining room at Harkison at that time that was reported in the Miami Herald was Meghan. Now, numerous decoy sort of gaslighting sort of discoveries later. There's a girl that looks very similar to Meghan Markle actually in Getty Images at that particular Miami stay. When Harry is departing to go on to Memphis, there's a girl that looks like Meghan Markle. She's got long brunette sort of hair and she's got little shorts and she's got sort of Meghan's little skinny legs and she's quite tanned and, it could be Meghan Markle from the back. It is not Meghan Markle. It was a girlfriend of another guy that was in their 13-strong party that were going on to this Guy Pelly wedding. So a lot of people will look at that and say, no, it wasn't Meghan. It was Meghan. I know it wasn't Meghan. Meghan was not photographed at that time. She was only said to be possibly the tan brunette that Harry was talking to intently in the corner of a dark restaurant. No press took her photograph. No press saw her. It was sort of like passed on by people that were there, waitering staff or whatever, to this Miami Herald reporter that just happened to be in the foyer and happened to see them walk through. Okay. So there's no proof. There's no proof other than the fact that I know Mission Anu slipped up once and said she met Meghan in May in 2014, later changed to December, and now this extra bit of information that Mission Anu introduced Eugenie to Meghan in May 2014 in Miami. Now, the warrior princess thing. Miss and Harriman actually introduced Meghan to Princess Aaliyah, and that was part of that blog piece she did where she sneered at Catherine. Now, all these things raised my awareness because why did she do a blog post in the early days of the TIG about Princess Catherine and Prince William's wedding? Back then, of course, Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, right? Why did she bring it up? Because it was 3 years after the wedding. Why even refer to it? It just seemed really weird to me. And then this sort of introduction for Miss and Harriman to Princess Aaliyah, whose family has fled Libya. She had been educated in America. And interestingly enough, she was VIP of Relations for Art Basel. Now, in July of 2014, Meghan writes this article sneering at Catherine and William, talking up Princess Aaliyah and her wonderful achievements, and she does have wonderful achievements. But interestingly enough, VIP of Relations for Art Basel, which means Meghan could easily get another invite back to Miami, which would provide the perfect cover that in December she met Mission Anu, not when Harry was there. So you see, this Nigerian nickname of Warrior Princess made me think of She-Ra, Warrior Princess, made me think of Miss and Harriman introducing Meghan to the VIP of Relations for Art Basel, which gave them the perfect cover that has always been used, that she met Misha in December at Art Basel. Now, she went over and stayed with Corey Vitiello. Now, Corey Vitiello, I always felt was just the perfect cover in 2014. The other thing that I found really, really interesting was the fact that Meghan went from sort of D-list cable actress to, in 2014, becoming a humanitarian, a global ambassador for major brands, attending young world summits. She was almost like she was padding out her CV to be a perfect potential partner for a prince of the realm. And I really noticed this transition. It was so obvious. Again, Miss and Harriman introduces Meghan to Boris Becker. Boris Becker gets her a little spot on the Young World Summit in Dublin. Through that, she gets Gina Nelthorpe-Cowan. Now, this has all been pointed out in Tom Bower's book, Revenge, all these connections. And it's been pointed out, in Andrew Morton's book as well. It's been pointed out in Lady Colin Campbell's book. So I'm not, reinventing the wheel here. But I am making more connections than they made about the fact that this transition from D-list cable actress to this sort of humanitarian resume being built of Meghan doing worthy causes in 2015. Even her fashion change in 2014. She went from sort of tacky, bit, LA tacky, sort of dressing like a teenager, to all of a sudden appearing in better fashion. She seemed more sophisticated. There's even whole image galleries showing her fashion transition. And it all kicks in 2014, just a few months after I claim she met Prince Harry in Miami. Now, I could be wrong. Flimsy proof. Flimsy, I know. But when you have so many coincidences and you have so many connections, doesn't it make you look? I mean, at some point, can this all be just serendipity? Can this all be just Things that happened that just sort of paved the way for Meghan to marry into the British royal family. Now, I'm sounding like a real wacko conspiracy theorist, I know, but it is interesting, isn't it? Because Meghan herself admitted in her Oprah Winfrey interview that she had an introduction to Eugenie way before she even met Prince Harry. Now, if they were all at Miami at the time, maybe it was just Misha, Eugenie and Meghan that sort of got together at Soho Beach House. But Harry was there the next day. He was by the pool. I don't know. And then that would follow that maybe they would meet up a year later at Istanbul Soho House. And then it would follow that they'd meet up a year after that. But this time, they actually let the world know that they were an item. Maybe Harry was unaware. Maybe this was all a contrivance and all these sort of almost pieces in the jigsaw, or the ladder to Harry was being built over those 2 years. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But it does worry me that if that's the case, if there was a plan for Meghan to be perfectly placed to meet and marry Harry, well then, is this trip to Nigeria well advised? Let me just put it that way. Now, it is said in an article that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie did attend the Guy Pally wedding. It is also said, I'll put up the photo now where I actually found that little bit of proof that gave me Misha and Eugenie and Meghan at the same time in May in Miami. I'll put it up now. It's Getty Images, and the blurb underneath it says, Eugenie and Meghan first met at an event in Miami in May 2014. Now, like I said, in an article, I was just so lucky I managed to get that screen grab, because in a later article, it was actually amended. It's also really interesting that if you look back at the 2014 Getty Images of Prince Harry in Miami, often you will find that you can visit an article. And when you visit the article, it actually says for some reason that this 2014 article was clarified and updated in 2020. Now, why would a 2014 article in People magazine be clarified and updated 6 years later? What would be the purpose? Also, in other articles that you can click through to from Getty Images, you can scroll down and it will say, which person will Prince Harry date next? Because as we know, he broke up with Cressida just days before that visit to Miami. I wonder under whose encouragement. So you click on this article, and when you click on it, they're proposing to say, who will Prince Harry date next? And I wonder if there was an inconvenient photograph in amongst that image gallery, because when you click on it, it now says that the article has been removed. The other thing that raised a red flag for me was in Harry's own book. I thought that the breakup with Cressida was weird because they were touted to go to Guy Pally's wedding together. She was set to go as Prince Harry's partner, and he broke up with her literally the day before. Literally the day before they were due to fly out. She wasn't expecting it. Now, they had trouble in their relationship, and yes, maybe she expected to break up, and yes, she didn't want to become part of the royal family, and they'd gone on a ski holiday before that, and it sort of hadn't gone that well, and Harry had sort of discovered that he wasn't head over heels in love with her, or so he claims in his book, but it was a sudden breakup. It was an inconvenient breakup. It was a shock. And poor old Cressida was just left behind when she was due to go with a whole gang of friends for a stopover in Miami and then on to Memphis for this wonderful, fun wedding. And she had the rug pulled out from under her just a day before. And that always aroused my interest. So this combination of that, the combination of the fact that Harry was photographed at Soho Beach House, Miami. The combination of the Miami Herald little snippet about him talking to a tanned, long-haired brunette all night. Then the placing of the introduction of Eugenie and Meghan by Misha in May in Miami. Then all these updates on articles, and clarifications and corrections, putting that meeting in December. All of it raises questions for me. And like I said, it all goes back to the TIG sort of coming to the world, being really used as a megaphone, not so much to make Meghan an influencer in 2014. I think its purpose was to amplify to the world of a humanitarian work, to put that sort of a digital footprint of a humanitarian work and her good works and her worthiness and her great CV and her great resume. I think that was the purpose of the TIG. I really do. I think it was like an online resume to be a future Duchess. So I'll leave it with you. Let me know what you think down below. I'd be really interested to see what you think. Obviously, to be definitive, there would have to be a lot more pieces placed into this puzzle. Like I said, it's rather flimsy. It's definitely going down a rabbit hole, but it's always been of interest to me. And I'm just glad that I found that particular article because I really felt a bit gaslighted. I really felt like I was going a little bit mad because I knew I'd seen it, but now I've got it. Okay, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.